Hey everybody, how's it going? Got my coffee, and I just kind of wanted to talk about something that I always found kind of interesting in a obscure sort of way. Is the switches that come with stunt sabers, and I just wanted to talk about the switches that come with the stunt sabers on three of the major brands: Ultra Sabers, Saber Forge, and Saber Trio. Uh, As you may know, I prefer a good stunt saber just as much as I prefer a good sound saber. I kind of like the simplicity of a stunt saber. There's just something about getting a saber that's it's on, it's off. It illuminates, and you don't have to worry about the rigmarole of what fonts are equipped on it, whether or not the soundboard is working. It's just simplicity in of itself, and for the practicality of practicing and working on forms or whatever your intention is, dueling, sound is kind of not entirely necessary. So you have different quality switches that come on these sabers, and of course, here you have an Ultra Sabers Prophecy V3, and this has a guarded switch. Now, the advantage of the guarded switch is that it's inexpensive. It comes standard on a saber configuration, upgradable to an AV switch, but it's a very functional switch. Some people complain about because it has this outer surface which can break with dueling, but cosmetically it doesn't really affect too much. I mean, the switch is reliable. You click it, on, off. It's very much like a flashlight, and I think a lot of people would probably find that unappealing, but very functional. It's when you click it, you really have to push on it, get that clicking motion. It's a very definitive tactile feel, and I can see after a few hundred, 200, 300, 500 times, maybe the switch would start to loosen up a bit, but it's not going to break for a good long while. On, off, off, on, off, on, off, on. Might not be the most gratifying process, but it works. And I find that, the main thing that you want to avoid is having a switch that clumsily turns on and off while you're swinging the saber. And I've never really had any issue with accidentally turning one of these on or off. The only thing that possibly can happen is you get this effect as you push it without clicking it. You are kind of creating a circuit, and but that's actually kind of cool because it can simulate a lockup. Anyway, so that's a guarded switch. So as of a 1 out of 5, I give a guarded switch, maybe a 3. Okay, onward and upward. So here's your second type of switch, and this, of course, is your AV switch. This is a desirable upgrade on most sabers. It usually bumps up the price by about $15. I think if you have the option to have it illuminated with a sound saber, which you don't really get with a stunt saber, obviously, I think it bumps up like another $25 or something like that. But with a stunt configuration, you just get the AV and the $15 upgrade, unless you're getting something from the V5 series, which just automatically comes with this switch. And it works very similar to the guarded switch, in that you click in and it recesses a little bit, which is nice, and it's inside a bit of a housing, so the odds that you're going to turn it off are slim. It has happened to me, but you really have to try or just be hopelessly bad. So as you can see, it recesses in, and when it clicks and is off, it's more flush, which makes it easier to gain your tactile feel. Turn it on, turn it off. Doesn't have quite the resistance that guarded switch does, but it does offer some resistance, and there is a satisfying click. And when it's on, it's on. And you have a nice metal housing around it that you don't really have to worry about breaking. The only thing that you may be concerned about is this is glued in So, that could be an issue, but so far I haven't discovered any major problems. I have had um, not stunt sabers, but the sound sabers use what's called a momentary switch, which actually works on you're pushing it in, you're creating a circuit, you're pushing it out, but it doesn't click into place. It's a different process, it's less analog, more digital. That's the way I interpret it anyway. Um, so, as I was saying, this is a pretty reliable switch. Sometimes they do get loose, like I said, with the momentary switches, but I have not encountered that with any of the Stunt Saber configurations. So, this is a very functional and desirable switch. If you can get it as an option, most certainly do that. When I'm looking to purchase a used Ultra Saber, I'll tend to obviously favor these types of switches and avoid getting them with the guarded switches. But if I get a mystery box and it has a guarded switch, that's all right. And my Manticore, which is actually Sound Saber, has a variation of the guarded switch that sort of functions like a momentary switch, and that's functional too. So there you have it. Now, on to Saberforge. Now, one of the things that disappoints me about Saberforge is I tend to not shop for Saberforge Warrior Tier Sabers, which is a damn shame. And the reason why I don't shop for Warrior Tier um, Saberforge Stunt Sabers is because of this switch. Now, all of their sabers come with the same switch. All their Warrior Tier sabers come with the same switch. And as you can see, this switch sticks out. It doesn't recess into the hilt. It just kind of sticks out like the veritable sore thumb. And when you turn it on, it does go into the saber, but it doesn't go into it sufficiently. It actually doesn't go into it. It sticks out about let's say about half to maybe 3/4 of a millimeter. And you have to be very cognizant when you're swinging around a Warrior Tier Saber from Saberforge, because it's very easy for your hand to just kind of brush up against this and turn it off. It may not seem very easy to do as I'm sitting here demonstrating it, but when you're swinging the saber around, it'll turn off and on and flicker. It's very frustrating. My hand discipline on the hilt isn't sufficient to be able to handle a situation like this. My hand wanders too much on the hilt. And the other thing is, when you click it in, it's very soft. There isn't that definitive feel, that tactile feel where you feel like it's going to lock into place. It's just sort of floating there softly. It's hard to explain. It isn't very gratifying. And to be perfectly blunt, I despise this switch. I despise them on all of my. I think I only had 2 other Warrior Tier, Stunt Sabers from Saberforge, and they were all mystery boxes. I would never deliberately buy a saber that comes with this switch because I think it's a horrible design, and I think its day has come and gone. I really think that Saberforge needs to reconsider um, this particular format for a switch. It doesn't work, not for me anyway, and I find it to be extremely dysfunctional, and it sort of negates the usefulness of a Warrior Tier saber. Of course, you can send it out to a sabersmith and have it customized, but you really shouldn't have to. The amount of money that you spend on a saber like this, and the amount of effort that they put into the hilt, the cover text system, the details, the lathing, the windows, the LEDs, everything that goes with the quality of the blade, everything that goes into the saber is done with love. And the quality, I mean, I absolutely love the design of the Venom with a 32-inch blade. It's very, very, the balance is good. It feels good in the hand. Everything is good about it except for one thing. This damn switch. It's shite. And Saberforge, deal with that. All right. Moving on. Sorry about the vitriol. Saber Trio. So, I have several Stunt Sabers by Saber Trio, and they use a momentary switch, or rather, sorry, an AV switch. And sorry, this is black, so it might be a little bit hard to see. That's very much like the AV switch that you find on the Ultra Sabers, and they all kind of come with the same basic design. You can get them in black, silver, um, gold, red. You can really customize this on a weathered saber. You can get a weathered. I think you can get a weathered version of the Switch. I'm not too sure. Um, and it's kind of the same with the Ultra Sabers to a degree, and Saber Forge. You can get a black or a silver, but this one gives you a few more options. And this works very much like the Ultra Sabers. Clicks in, it recesses a little bit. The switch itself is actually recessed into the hilt a little bit. That's the case with this, and that's also the case with my my arc lights. And so that makes for a very uninvasive profile. You're not going to easily accidentally turn this off. In fact, if you saw my little practice video yesterday that I did with this saber, um, I had no issues, at least reviewing. I should probably review the video before I say this, but I don't think I had any issues. I didn't have any accidental turnoffs, and not so much as a flicker. This has a very gratifying in, out, on, off. I would say it's not quite as rigid as it is on the AV switches of an Ultra Saber, but it's not nearly as soft and mushy feeling as it is on the Saber Forge. And like I said, it recesses probably a whole millimeter and a half into the hilt. So you really don't have to worry too much. I mean, your hand just kind of glides over that, and nothing's gonna happen. Plus, you get that lockup effect that you get with the guarded switches and the AV switches on the Ultra Sabers. You can do that on a Saber Forge as well. I'm not going to do that. It's not. Uh, anyway, so yeah, so there's your choices for Stunt Saber switch options, and I would probably say that it's a toss up between Saber Trio and and Ultra Sabers AV switches. I would give those fives. Um, the guarded switch, like I said, I'd probably give it a three, and the switches on the Saber Forge Warrior Tier Sabers, I gotta give that a one or a zero. They're not good switches, and I think if that was the one thing I would suggest to Saber Forge to change, that would be it, because I think that's probably, I don't know, I could be wrong. That could be endemic of, that could be something that a lot of people are feeling. Um, Obviously, everyone wants a saber with sound, but if you're a duelist, I mean, if you look at the catalog that Saberforge has and all the different sabers that they offer, and they don't have, you know, you want to get just something inexpensive, and you want to use it for dueling, and you don't mind if it's just a stun saber, but you're gonna avoid getting one because of that damn switch. I mean, it's useless. So I don't know. It just seems like Saberforge could probably increase their sales considerably if they just make that change. And I understand they probably order them from a supplier, and they have probably a rather lucrative and economically, functional deal established. But I don't know. You have to look onward and upward. So this isn't really. I'm not meaning to bash on Saberforge. I'm just drawing attention to what I think is an issue, among other things, electronics. But that's not. This whole discussion is basically meant to be more or less not about electronics. So anyway, there you have it. That's my opinion on on all the switches for your various and sundry Stunt Sabers. And I'm going to give you a bit of a light show if I can manage it. I would be remiss if I didn't give you the colors of the rainbow here. Because well represented. I've got pink, purple, Green and blue. Is that awesome? Yeah, I love it. Anyway, so I kind of hope that this video was somewhat helpful to you guys. If you have any questions, please send your comments. I'm going to be busy for the most of the day. I'm going out to see Star Wars Rise of Skywalker for the third time with some friends, and again, go out afterwards and have myself some fun. But we're also supposed to get a blizzard. I live on the East Coast, Western Mass, and today is very cold and it's supposed to be very, 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 very blizzardy. So kind of play it by ear. Anyway, so hope you all have a wonderful rest of the day. Thank you for watching my video. And if you feel inclined, please subscribe. And I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.